Welcome back to the To Be Fair Show. I am your host, Johnny P.
Oh, here, real.
It's Q.
And we got a special edition pod tonight, game night. But I'll throw it to Taj and let her kind of explain the happenings.
Making a very rare appearance on the To Be Fair Show. I am off Mike Taj. So tonight we are doing game night. And so the way it kind of works is that we have a bowl of questions that everybody in the room has written down, topics from A to Z, anything that you can think of, we're going to discuss it. But before we get into it, I want to go ahead and let everybody do a quick introduction of who they are.
I'm Big L. I'm Chrissy. It's your girl Mills.
Okay, Mills.
I'm Toya.
I'm Big K.
Y'all ready?
Let's see. How long after being exclusive should you discuss moving in together? Well, to be completely honest, as a man, I don't believe you should move in. And you done heard that shit. I've been preaching that for a minute. As a man, I don't think you should move in. You should have your own shit, establish yourself. But for, I guess I said that part, for a woman,
Cohabitating,
shit.
letting her move in.
Hey, time frame. So I got to give a definite answer. I'm going to say shit. Well, you ain't going to really know each other until you do move in. So I would say shit. That's rough. I'm going to say
I got one.
I would say give it at least a year. I'll say give it at least a year. That'll be my answer. A year.
Single Johnny.
Oh, I was going to say, just after you done, like we were talking about, you don't know nobody for that first little talking stage.
Okay.
So once you done seen, like, y'all done had a couple arguments, you done seen them person go through some adversity, and you feel like you have a good, understanding of how they act under pressure. Or just, how they going to act when tough times get hard. I don't think there's any one, like, time frame, like 6 months, a year, because every couple going to be different. But once you done establish that, level of trust and intimacy, then, it's probably cool.
But did you answer the question if you don't provide a time frame?
No, I mean, my answer, hell.
I'll just go. Fuck the question. Fuck the question.
I would say 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, I don't want to say why, but that's my.
Oh, you're going to leave it up in the air.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 years.
All right. You want...
I said my name was Big K, not Little K.
Big K.
Capital
Big
K. Just go past skip me. I think you should wait till you're married. I've moved in with people before being married. I think that was a mistake. I've learned from those mistakes. Y'all learn from my mistakes. Wait till you're married. Shacking up. I feel like you can end up being a baby mama, all this other stuff. Just wait till you're married. That's my opinion.
Mic drop.
I disagree. Only because I think that marriage is the permanent step. And if you're waiting to then and then you don't know the person until you're actually living together, there's so many deficits in their character and who they are, just like their general mannerisms. Like, it be times you just hate the way that motherfucker just get out the shower. It's wet everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like small little shit.
Leave the cabinets open.
It'd be small little things that until you actually live with the person, you have to cohabitate. You have to deal with, like, who they are as a person every single day. I tend to say that long distance relationships and, like,
Somebody
relationships
got the
that you don't have
buzzer.
to see each other consistently are the easiest ones.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm about to say, where's the time?
Where's the buzzer?
Make sure that motherfucker time
shot
is somewhere.
I was
Hey,
my
need
bag.
that
I
motherfucker in the
was
cut.
about to get my bag, but I'm gonna keep it short.
We got
So
shot
to answer the question directly, I think that probably a year is a good time frame. But the real thing would be the maturity of your relationship. What stage of maturity at? Are y'all still fuck buddies? Are y'all still, like, have y'all progressed to that? Are y'all really sitting talking with each other, having real conversations? What are those conversations like? Are y'all starting to build towards something? So that's what I'll say.
I agree with Big K and Quentin because I feel like
You can't agree with both of us.
yeah,
Who's on
I'ma
opposite
have to,
ends?
but I'm gonna break it down though real quick. So I agree with her as far as like, okay, let me just say my perspective. As far as like, if y'all not married, I feel like apartment is okay because y'all it's leasing.
Oh, no homes.
When home is
I
a
feel
whole
that.
different thing. When y'all ready to be done, that's a whole lot of commitment as far as like both parties trying to sell a home.
Oh, you're referring
all
to
the
buying a
extra-
home, not moving into a home.
Oh,
Like,
you
if
know
you're
what?
renting-
That can happen too. So you know what? Y'all can rent a home too. But as far as like buying a home, yeah, nah.
I get
But
that.
renting, it's cool. I mean, everybody's time is different too. Like whatever y'all feel like your maturity is at, then yeah, do it. Everybody should do what benefits them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just ain't put no time on it, but
I was just gonna say that, like, I agree with what you're saying, but even if you're just renting, you still can. When you're living with somebody, sometimes you start acting like the wife, and you start putting in more money together, intermingling that money together. So even if you're not actually buying a house, you may be getting, oh, let's get this loan so we can do this, or let's do this. So you're making these big decisions with your money still when you're living together, even if you're not buying a house. And I don't think that you should be doing that with people that you're not married to.
I agree with Big K. Like me, what I say now, I can't tell you for the future, but right now I say we can play house. Like, I can come stay with you, you can come stay with me, but I'm still gonna need my own until we marry. Until like when we make that commitment together, then we can move in together.
Yeah.
But me, I mean, I would need my own before that, because what if I get tired of you, you get tired of me?
Break up, because marriage is a long ass time.
Now I gotta move out.
that's
You gotta move out.
expensive
We gotta
too.
figure out
Facts.
this, we gotta figure out that. I'd rather stay
I'm-
at my place I can go to. You got you. Then when we marry, we can figure that all out together.
I feel like I don't know. I just don't agree with that perspective, only because I want to know your deficits before I get engaged inside a legal contract.
Well, let's be honest, though.
I want to.
Let's be honest. Me and him spent all day together till 11 p.m. Then he goes home.
Y'all are different scenarios.
I'm just saying, you can spend copious amounts of time
Copious. That's a
with
great
someone
That was a good word.
and not have to live with that person. That's all. That's my point. You could be living with somebody and they work 80 hours a week, but y'all barely see each other. And then, you know what I'm saying?
I do feel like it's solutions to those problems, like what you said, loans and all that. That's up to you if you want to do all that.
Big
You
fact.
don't have to do that.
Big fact.
That's what you signing up for.
And I'm
Taking
also
all that responsibility, and then two, y'all could get a couple bedrooms, so y'all could be. If you aren't feeling him, you sleep over here tonight. I sleep over there tonight, because we both ain't feeling each other tonight. We need our space. That's okay.
But I think another piece that comes down to long-term relationships and cohabitating that we might not discuss a lot is the fact of financial management and knowing how each other actually manages. And like, again, before I sign some papers that I'm legally binded to you, I want to know how fiscally responsible you are. Like, are you
Big
going through your
facts.
shit? Are like what structure of relationship are you looking for? Are you looking for me to pay for everything? Are we doing like some kind of like a split scenario? Like, all these are real things that I think if you go into a marriage blindly, you'll probably put yourself way past like even the start spot, because there's so many different situations and scenarios that you have to work out when already being completely committed. But I'm tapping that.
I'll take this one. Should a man date women younger than him? Should. I don't know about should, but I think women mature faster than men, so I think it do make sense for a man to date a woman younger than him, because usually maturity levels of a man at 30 is probably going to be at the same maturity level as a woman at maybe like 27, 26. So I think it does, make sense just based on that.
I don't think they should, because I feel like if a man have a child and it's like the child is like 20 something and you 30 something and you dating a 22 per se, that's like dating your child. So I feel like no, because even with me, like I don't date younger men at all. They have to be like my age or older. I'm 37, so they got to be 37 and older.
But that goes to the point. You're actually agreeing with the point. You just agreed with it.
It
Said a man, not a woman.
Oh, well, okay, of a certain age for a man. I say not nobody that's like a child's age. Like if your child was 21 and a female is like 24 and a man is like 36.
Basically, what you're saying is if they can be the person's daddy.
Pretty much, yeah. Then no, because I think I just don't do that. That's
I think it depends.
I think it just depends on the person, but I have no problem with somebody dating somebody younger than them, or like a male dating somebody younger than them.
Yeah, I agree with Big K. It totally depends on the individuals, the mindset, how they are together, how they communicate. I don't think it really. I mean, age is a fact. It's a
So,
portion.
so in general, would you say that it'd be more advantageous for a guy to date younger than him or at his age or above?
I think men normally date younger.
I was thinking about, okay, so what are the expectations of men, right? Okay, so I would assume you want stability, right? I would assume y'all all would agree on
Yes.
stability.
Oh, my bad. I'm not.
You want leadership. You want to be able to you want to feel comfortable allowing him to lead. You want the checklist that the boxes that a lot of women want checked come with longer lifespans. Like it takes a longer time to obtain and mature to the point to where you know exactly how the world is going. You know how you want the world to work for you, and you know what I mean. How you want your scenario and system to run. So it would make sense that a dude would be older because he has actually lived this, and you can accept his wisdom, which means that you allow him to lead you. It makes more sense to me. I can understand that why an older dude would date a younger woman, because then she would be more apt to actually follow his lead versus a woman that is at the same age bracket, because you know just as much as me. No, well, let's not have to have that back and forth about that. You respect my opinion. You allow me to lead, which I am now at the capacity mentally that I can lead you to the direction, and I can see the trajectory.
All right, cool.
I want to say one thing. Can I say one thing real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say that the whole men dating younger women, it just originated in patriarchy and like trying to keep women down and underestimating women, and women not being able to work for themselves and all those types of things, because your whole view basically just makes like women and women relationships sound void, because you're like, a woman needs to be have somebody to tell them what to do basically and like provide for them. Well, this is 2022. I don't know if you checked, but we doing pretty good out here as women.
I'm not.
That's
mad
all
at
I'm
it.
saying.
Hey,
I'm not mad at it.
That's all
I'm not
saying.
mad at it. At the end of the day,
But I'm gonna let it go. That's all I wanted to say.
at the end of the day, what you're probably wanting is probably not a man that will lead you. So that may be just in the way that you said. So do you want a man to lead you? Do you want a man to lead you, or are you going to lead?
My whole point was just that whole older man, younger woman is a traditional thing. That's
Gotcha.
my point.
No,
but as far as
understood.
what I particularly want, I want an equal.
So you both
I don't.
okay?
I don't need to be led, and I don't want to lead anyone.
Okay. I mean, and honestly, I'm a traditional man. Like I live a traditional life. So my perspective is going to be based in traditionalism.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? And hey, at the end of the day, like I said, the matter of fact, you got it. My bad. You got it.
I think I kind of forgot my point, but just thinking about like majority of men do date younger women. There are going to be situations where there are some men who date older women, but majority, if we're talking about overall, is going to be younger, whether it's a year younger, a couple months, a few years, whatever it is. I know for me, my family is predominantly men. Something I've heard my dad say is that he don't date older women or women his age because of baggage, right? They have too much going on with them. They tend to be stuck in their ways, yada, yada, yada. So majority of men do date younger women. Now, I do feel like when it gets to a point of like a huge age gap, that could be a situation of like manipulation and things like that. But naturally, I do feel like men do tend to date women that's a few years younger than them. Like Johnny P was saying, women mature faster and things like that. So it just kind of depends on your maturity level, where your relationship is going. And that's all I got to say.
Good job. I mean, as far as the baggage, I hear this a lot. As far as older women, I feel like people try to discredit older women as far as like what they got going on because they're independent or whatever. Nobody want to hear. The guys don't want to hear that. Let's just say it.
Right.
I don't feel like they come with a lot of baggage. I feel like, yes, you're experienced, I'm experienced. So I'm going to have to work harder and you're going to have to work harder. But sometimes I feel like the men don't want to work harder. Or sometimes the women don't want to. I'm not. Exactly. That's my point. Why would you consider that? But a lot of the men are dating under because it's easier.
Yeah.
They feel like they're teaching them something, or you're not gonna get no talk back, or no, because I don't have the experience, I can't check you on what you're saying. Because I don't know what you're saying.
Period.
So I have to go with what you're saying.
So
Go ahead and
She
grab.
right.
grab it.
Submissive.
no, okay, so I don't think it's necessarily that. I think that with any age, I mean, with any sex, whether you're a man or woman, after a certain age, you get stuck in your ways. So if you have a partner that's trying to
There it
build
goes.
something with you and you're not willing to budge, you're not willing to cooperate, it's going to be hard to date you. So yeah, a woman that might be a few years younger might be willing to, you know, bend and things like that. But older women, even older men, a lot of them are really stuck in their ways. And they're fucking stubborn. Nobody wants to really deal with that. We're in a partnership. We need to work together, not me working against you to try to make some shit happen.
I have a question. It came to me.
Okay.
So we're talking about men dating younger, but men, like when you're out, you see a woman, you don't know what her age is.
Right.
So are you going to be asking her, so how old are you? Or are you going to be like, let me date you, let me get to know you mentally, see what you at? And then if she's everything that you seem to want, and she says, oh, but let's say you 33, and she say, oh, I'm 35. Does that really matter?
Nah, I would say that in general, and I guess a piece of it will be me answering the question as well. So, no, I don't think most guys would go into like a relationship, or not even go into a relationship, go into like hollering at a female or woman and be like, oh, she looks young, let me get at her, right? I think that, and maybe there's guys that exploit the scenario, so I'm sure that does happen. But if we're talking about men in the room, right? I would say that generally, when it comes down to like who you're trying to date, you're going to talk to them, and what we're talking about is like the success rate within the general scope of the relationships, right? Where I probably agree that, because I probably say like it's probably closer enough to like 50-50 where I've dated at my age or a little older, and I've had a couple that are younger, right? In which I would say there is this space where, in general, somebody that is of your age and older, typically at the age that I'm at. So I'm 35. So at 35, most people are stuck in their ways to an extent, right? And there's a piece in which people kind of struggle to budge with a couple like their core principles, in which then you start talking about compromise and meeting halfway and different things like that. And I think that tends to be a little bit more of a struggle, especially if you're the same age, because now you're peer to peer. Go ahead and ask.
Okay.
You got to answer this too.
Okay. All right. What do you think? What do you think is the correct way to address the situation? You walk in a room, your partner is crying because it just died.
What?
It just died.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so if it's my partner, I'll be like, baby, you ain't gotta cry. It's okay. But at the same time in my head, I'm thinking like, yes, thank you. I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Cause like my partner, like my current partner, my baby daddy, other baby daddy, like his baby mama, I can't stand her. So she died. I'll be so happy.
No.
Not even like that, but like, of course I send my condolences, but at the same time, it's like, okay.
PSA real quick. We don't wish death on
I don't wish death on I don't wish death on nobody, but at the same time, it's like, if she dies, I'm not gonna feel bad.
All right, I'm throwing the tide.
Okay. So for me, I think it's like a twofold thing, right? To where it's kind of like, I understand that you also had X amount of time with this person. You know, that was your ex. You guys were intimate. Y'all got to know whatever parts of yourself. So I understand like that mourning aspect of it. But then a part of me is kind of like, well, damn, like that was your ex. You know, so it's kind of like, but I understand like you crying because that was somebody that you did have quality time with. Like, I understand that. Like I said, it's like a twofold thing. It's one of those things where I want to be sympathetic, but it's kind of like also like, that's your ex. Like,
All right, so I'm trying to be quick. So I would like to say I think that it just depends on like your stage of development. I think younger me would be like, you will act like you'll get more mad type shit, right? because you don't have the emotional intelligence to process the fact that this is somebody that they're connected to. And to me, honestly, anybody that I know in my life, I'm probably going to cry at them dying because this is like experiences that I actually had with that person. And me at this point, I have the toolbox to understand how to unpack that. Younger me wouldn't have that. But at this point, if I walk in, then I'm like, I understand. Because these are experiences that you've had with this person. Like, you can be completely over somebody and you can still cry at the death. It's mad people you can hate that you can cry to death because there's meaningful experiences that you have with that person.
For sure.
I agree. I mean, yeah, it would hurt me. Like, why are you crying? But I gotta be understanding, because not only that, granted, I don't wish death on nobody. Granted, if I don't like them or not, I don't wish death on nobody. So if that hurts that person, you gotta be understanding and open to that person not here no more. Let that person grieve in peace. It hurt them, but I'm with you now, and that person ain't here.
It's they no longer a threat though, at that point. They no longer a threat, so you can't really be mad if like
throwing away.
Oh, introduce yourself.
So just to introduce myself real quick, this Wayne, Coach Wayne, 5 on know. I don't know if everybody know, but I feel like it's not the actual grieving; it's actually the time period of your grieving. So I feel like I'm gonna give you the opportunity to grieve and get through the moment, because, like you say, like Quint said, we human. We're gonna have a human emotion. We're gonna, feel a certain kind of way if someone does pass away that we have been connected to. But I also feel like there's a certain point in time that you have time to grieve for that person to move on as well. Now, I feel like, I'm not trying to tell you when to move on, but, we lingering and crying over old photos, old songs that we got through 2 weeks later, a month later after the funeral. I mean, let's kind of get past that moment and move on with our life now. But I'm going to give you that moment and the time to do that, though. But I feel like there's a time frame that should be kind of assessed with that to kind of give you that moment. But afterwards, we got to move on.
Okay. Is it your time for that person to move on? Or is it that person? You can't tell that person.
That's rough.
Oh. I mean, not really.
No,
It's his time.
And you're true to assess that as well. But like I say, I didn't put a time frame on it. What I'm saying is there's a time that you have time to grieve, and there's a time that you have to have time to move on. And I'm speaking from that from a perspective of losing someone that many people haven't lost before. So not to compare my grief to someone else's grief, though, but I understand that there's a point in time that you have to grieve, but you also have to actually start building for the future as well. Because if you continue to stay in that same space, it's hard to move on.
We can roll on to the next question.
Okay, so the question that I drew was, what are your 2 biggest lessons you learned from previous relationships? And I actually had to take a moment and think about it, and then I tried to convince Q to let me switch it because it was hard, but he wouldn't do it. Okay, so I think the first thing that I learned is something that we all probably have learned, which is that I'd rather be calm in love than crazy in love.
So were you lethal left eye in it?
Good God.
And the second thing that I've learned is that I have to ask myself whenever before I get into a relationship with someone, is this someone that I would be friends with if I wasn't romantically attracted to them at all?
That's a great one, too. That's a great one.
And if they are somebody like that, then I will consider a relationship.
That's dope. That's dope.
Who else? Any raised hand? All
I
right.
got some.
We throwing to Chrissy.
I would say, as much as you pour into them, pour into yourself.
Okay.
Because we tend to give a lot to the other person. And we think about their needs. We think about making them happy. But we also have to look out for ourselves. And another one, people always say, be honest. Like,
so you saying don't be honest?
Like, be honest.
So you
like
saying lie in them relationships?
No.
Just to keep it healthy.
Like when you honestly ask for it and they give it to you, like you have to be prepared to know what to do with that honesty in the moment. Like, be prepared for it. Because you can just be like, be honest with me, and then they hit you with it, like,
So I got to. I guess we have a building, but like we can build onto that. So, ladies, how well do you take pure honesty? Like if a guy is actually being real and honest with you when it comes down to it.
So I had a situation where my ex was real honest about like my behavior in a relationship, and when he told me, I'm not gonna lie, it hurt my feelings, and I had to literally because
Did you
I'm
lash out?
Huh?
Did you lash
I
out?
did, and I was about to say I'm a very like responsive type person. Like, as soon as somebody tells me something, I feel like I'm attacked, so I'm ready to go off. Yeah. But when he told me, it hurt my feelings, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna take what you said and process it because of everything that was going on. I'm gonna take what you said and process that. So, it took me about a day to really like listen to what he had to say, process what he had to say, and then kind of do some self-reflection. So for me, it's not something that's immediate. It's gonna take some time to process.
Anybody else?
I was gonna say it depends on the way that you deliver the honesty. I think it's a difference in, like, if I ask a question, hey babe, do I look good in this? And you're like, no, you look stupid as fuck. Why you got that on? As opposed to, babe, I like you in something else. Mm-hmm. It's still the same. I don't like it. It's just a different delivery. So for me, it's more, for me, I can take, the criticism or whatever. It's just the way that you deliver it. That's like, all right, that's kind of dial it back some.
It's the tone.
Yes. I do believe that women can take in, as far as the toughest wording or way to say certain things. I feel like guys assume that we can't take in the harshness of the reality of life, I guess. But at the same time, I'm not going to say that. But at the same time, you guys can say it, but we're going to take it in and we're going to analyze the situation. It's going to make us better for the next person in life, or it might make us better for you, or it might make us better as just an individual. You don't never know. But guys, I feel like they make that decision for us. Sometimes, I'm not saying all guys, but sometimes guys make that decision for us. I'm like, oh, she's going to take it wrong. I'm not going to tell her that. But nah, really, we could take in whatever it is. I feel like honesty is the best policy.
I think there are extremes to being honest as well.
Yes.
Especially in a relationship where, and just traditionally, the female's always been able to be the honest one. Mm-hmm. And we've been, as men, been kind of required to take it, to where when it's reciprocated, it's kind of received differently. And like I say, there's extremes to it. And like y'all mentioned, I think there's delivery, communication when it comes to it. But I also feel like there's kind of like dimensions and levels to the whole thing when it comes to being honest more so than anything else, to where we're expected to be a certain type of honest versus being as honest as you guys are when it comes to coming at us with honesty.
I was just going to say that I feel like men's feelings and emotions are put on the back burner so often in relationships because, contrary to what everybody's saying here, women are more fragile when it comes to certain areas, particularly looks, particularly other women, particularly past relationships, those things like that. Those are sensitive subjects for many women because of the way society has, molded us. Basically, you got to look a certain way. You got to feel competitive to the next girl, all these types of things. So I feel like men can't truly express their feelings. And we as women, we really got to change that. Each of us, we got to be more open. We got to listen. We got to ask them, are they okay? How are they doing? Really, not just what we want to hear. That's all I wanted to say.
So we're going to throw
I was going to say, in regards to something that Wayne said about the communication, how women are able to be more honest, also kind of piggybacking off of you, I was going to say, at what point in your relationship does a man say, hey, I'd like for you to communicate with me this way? Because sometimes women get stubborn and sometimes women can't give men their ass to kiss. So I also think it's an open dialogue of, hey, I don't like the way you talk to me, or hey, I don't like this delivery. This is how I prefer to be talked to. So I feel like it's like Big K was saying, men feelings do get put on the back burner. So I just feel like as a partner, as a woman, you have to recognize that you're still talking to another human being. Like, this is your man. This isn't a mule. Like, this is a person that needs to be loved and valued and communicated with in a way that they see, in a way that works for them.
And then I'm just going to chime in too real quick. I'm sorry, we'll get you, but another thing that we have to accept and understand is that men communicate differently than women do. We communicate completely different. If you notice the way that men, the reason why a man can have relationships from fucking middle school and be 50 with the same dudes is because we communicate and have a mutual respect for one another, that we don't disrespect each other in the same ways that our women will disrespect us. So we have to understand that's very important, because like it's y'all, I mean, not gonna say y'all, women should definitely pay attention more to how men interact with one another, and you will be able to see that there's a streamline of respect regardless of what. And you will always, and with many homies that I have, like I see that women are willing to go much further than we know is acceptable. Like, so the results of said thing, you've provoked something that is outside of my actual character. Like I don't usually go this far, because the way that I'm used to communicating is not to go that far.
Is it?
Well, no, I was gonna say, like even like with homies, I'm gonna come back to you. I just wanted to say this, but even like as homies, like even if we like playing or we disagree, there's a certain level of where we keep it at.
So at the same time, it's like, granted, y'all have a community or a code or however y'all operate with guys, but as women and men, it's a disconnection somewhere, and then. Us women, we don't want to talk to y'all crazy sometimes too, but some people only understand the disrespect. It sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy.
No, that's
now, I'm not saying all. I'm not
it's a lot of niggas that love toxic relationships.
It's some dudes that love toxic.
Love that toxic.
Like, I know some dudes that love some motherfuckers
Back
30
then.
plus that like toxic relationships.
Yeah. It's nothing wrong until you can't control it, though. It's nothing wrong until you can't control it. Everybody's saying they like that little bit toxicity until they can't control it. So, all right, next one.
It says, what makes you feel loved?
Can I? Oh, let him answer.
Oh. So if I was to kind of give my answer, I would say, I think the little things care. I think maybe, I'll kind of sum it up with care. Where that looks different in a lot of different scenarios, but it's like the little things where, do you rub my back, my chest when we going to sleep or some shit like that? Something small like that. Do you like it's like just little things that you don't have to do that's past like something that we've agreed upon, and which allows me to understand that there is a different care that you have to me outside of the robotic sense of like, hey, I'm gonna pay for this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna say this, where it's more of a human aspect to it, where it's like, okay, this person fucks with me. Like, no matter how much money I spend on you or how much like sex you give me or anything like that, like the transactional shit, I think that there's this part of like that little middle gray area that we all look for, where we want somebody that does like those things and that makes you feel appreciated. And for me, that person that gives the care that makes you feel appreciated, I think those are the things that I fuck with.
It's about just being understood, as far as like there's sometimes where like I ain't even got to say something, and if she can pick up on it without like me even having to communicate it, or she just understood, she's seen my patterns and seen, oh, he would like this or he gonna like that, and that's what makes me feel, love, just being in that attention to detail.
So being attentive.
Yeah, attention to detail. Yeah.
What makes me feel love is when it's reciprocated. When I say, like, kind of what Quentin's saying, like the small.
That's
things.
A bar right there too.
It's the small things.
Reciprocation
you know what I mean?
is a universal love language.
Yeah. You gotta be patient. You gotta be able to communicate more than anything else. But I feel like it's the small things that don't get said. Like you saying, it's the understanding. It's the more so knowing I don't work 2 jobs or whatever. I mean, whatever it may be. I'm not saying me personally. I'm saying the situation may be.
I feel like you should be more specific, because that's the problem. If you say you communicate effectively, I just want you to know, if your partner sits and asks you what makes you feel loved, they didn't just get an answer. They got 0 answer from what you said. You gave a very general statement that does not tell what you need to be happy, or even an option, a pink, nothing.
I just think it all boils down to you and your partner just like you said, communicate with each other and understanding each other, asking each other questions. And I think people don't do this a lot, but you should just ask your partner, like sit down, ask your partner, like, what do you need from me? What makes you happy? What makes you feel X, Y, and Z? Am I giving that to you? What can I do more of? And so it just, and because people change over time, so it's not like, oh, we had this conversation in the beginning, so this is how it's gonna be forever. No, just do those monthly checks in or whatever it is. It just depends on if you understand your partner, if y'all having that communication, then you'll know how to make your partner feel loved. You know the little things he or she likes. That's that.
That's a nice way to put a little bow on that.
All right, so we'll move on to the next question. We'll throw the meals.
Hey, y'all. Okay, my question is, what attracts you more, looks or stability? And my answer was
Big bars.
now my answer is biased.
She said that with a list.
Because
Crazy.
First you go off of looks. You have to get to that point when you let the person see that point of them. So I guess it would be looks. It sounds bad, but I would like stability, of course. I want that for sure.
So what keeps you in a relationship?
Stability.
So it start off with the looks, but then once you start,
But once you gotta know a person, if they not stable, then it's like.
Hey Mills, I got a question. So would you date a good looking dude that was broke?
No. I need for him to be stable, but I gotta be attracted.
Would you date an ugly dude that had a bunch of money?
she would not.
No, I have to be attracted to you because I treat ugly people bad.
And the truth come out. She said it. She said it. She said what she said.
I have a two-part question. I'm first really curious to know what does stability mean to you, or what does it look like to you? And then I think everybody wants to know, why would you treat other people bad like that?
To me, I don't consider you a broke person if you're taking care of what you need to take care of. Your bills, obviously. The stuff you need to take care of to stay afloat, obviously, is cool. But at the same time, I think that's a big factor to me. Like, so you need to take care of
bills on credit cards. He's stable.
But who says that a bad thing? Credit cards, you get points off for certain things.
Talk to him, real.
So if she's talking on like a higher level where you're doing like, say, I got a friend Jeff who pays everything on credit cards, but he also has the capital. You got to listen. He also has the capital to where he never lets it even get close to overlapping, so he gets the points,
right?
And the credit for
and you get money back.
But and the money back. But he also has the capital to where he's paying everything on time. And he pays off what he paid on the credit card like 3 days later. And if that's what you're talking about, I think that's the smart way.
That's my second question. Why would you treat the ugly person bad? No. All right.
explain.
You guys think it might have been the villain? No, seriously, no. If I'm attracted to you and I don't feel like you're attractive, I'm not purposely trying to be mean to you. But if I did express to you like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work, and you keep forcing the situation, yeah, I don't fucking like you.
I'm gonna steer the conversation. Yeah, I have a question that's not in the probably not in the bowl. In the bowl. Okay. So I really just want to know, like, what is everybody's longest relationship?
Oh, I can answer that.
I think that's a good question, just so we can see where the conversation is coming from, and just to see, you know what I mean, the perspective, because that shows perspective as well.
We go the one that counts
an exclusive relationship.
We're gonna say 2 years,
6 years,
5+.
2.5, 13.
3 years.
He's married.
Same thing. Well, guess what?
It's different.
The same.
You on the mic? Go ahead. Say everything you got to say.
3 years.
6 years.
4 years.
Okay.
Everybody answer the question.
So
You telling me you can be with the same?
Hold on. We got something good over here. It's brewing. It's brewing.
You can be with the same person, same vagina, same penis, no cheating, but 13 plus years.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
You asking me a question?
I'm asking. Yeah, you had the longest. Yeah.
Oh no. So just to be completely honest, I mean, my relationship with my wife, we got married I was 19. We've been through
You think
all of the turmoil. The thing is that it was the cheating. It's not the cheating. That's the quick and easy answer. We always think that, it was the cheating. That's the quick and easy answer, but it's not. The thing is that people continually grow, and you can grow apart, but then you have to be able to bring it back in. I think that most people are just too fucking weak and so selfish to where that they just can't actually have a long-standing relationship because it's selfishness. Especially when you start to put kids into the situation.
Did y'all cheat on each other?
Oh no! So I can say was that your question?
One dick, one penis for 13 years. That's it.
Oh no, me and my wife. Okay. Well, I mean that wasn't her question, but I'll answer your question directly as well.
That's what she said.
She said, it was whether one joint. Okay.
She definitely.
Okay. So let's just be completely honest, which I already did this on the pod anyway. Me and my wife did separate for 2 years. We separated for 2 years back in. I was in the military, and we separated for 2 years. It was back in 2012, I think. Like 2012. We separated for 2 years, and you know what I mean? It wasn't about infidelity. It wasn't about cheating. It was literally like I seen me going this way. She saw herself going this way. We got married so young. So it was like we outgrew each other.
Yeah. Are you counting those years that y'all knowing each other? Because some
No. We've been knowing. As a matter of fact, we've been dating for actually like 15, 16 years, but we've been married for 13.
So y'all didn't never have any infidelity in the relationship?
No. During the separation, whatever she did and whatever I did, that was something completely different. But it wasn't like actual infidelity. No.
So do you think it's the same when y'all have sex? Is it the same being with the same woman for that long?
The thing is that's a good question too. You actually have to recreate it. You actually have to figure out and the thing is that like in today's time, people so fucked up. Yeah. People so fucked up. People prioritize sex over people.
Hello.
Like y'all, people are just so fucking like left with the way we think and things. We prioritize dumb shit over things that actually make sense. And yeah, so I mean, if you gonna be with a dude that ain't got shit because he got good dick, then hold your L. Don't goddamn complain to nobody. Hold your L and shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear what you think about relationships. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody. Don't start talking bad on men because niggas ain't shit. No, you prioritizing what you prioritizing. So that's just like if I just said, I'm gonna max out my credit cards to take cash advances to put money in the stock market. Hold my L when it's going down. I got to hold it. You know what I mean? I got to hold it. Ain't no way that I can make excuses for my mistake. For not my mistake, for the decision that I made.
All right, so we're gonna throw the mails.
My bad. That was over
to wrap it up.
No, I agree with what you were saying too, but I've seen something where it says dating can be somewhat of an issue because they tell you to date so many people until you find the right one. But it's really creating a bad habit because you're creating in that person's mind like I'm a date. But when the times get tough, I can leave whenever I want to leave. Yeah. So by the time that you get married and
you talking about
you in the situation and it get a little hard. And they think like your mindset is to leave because you already built that bad habit in your head. Like I'm dipping because times are getting tough. Right. So I do agree with you saying a lot of people, the new generation, it is kind of weak-minded and they don't want to put effort into a lot of stuff. People, when they get their feelings hurt, they ready to call it quits.
Shit's gonna be tough. Like it is gonna be tough.
Hey, can I hop in real quick? It's not even specific to this, but I think that we got enough ladies in here, and I love like picking the opposite gender's brain a lot. Especially when it comes down to relationships and like these topics. If I was to give a raise of hands really quickly, ladies, How many ladies right now are single? It's only one. Hey, listen, she hit the wall with it. That's a different time. My bad. Hey, so single. Hey, listen, I'm playing the Beyonce song. All my single ladies, right? And I like to pick y'all brain because I think it's interesting. I think that even in a relationship, it's interesting to hear y'all perspectives. Because of it's things that you can kind of look at. So ladies, when dating right now, at this point, if maybe if we put like a 1, 2, 3, what are the things that you are looking for in a guy? What are you actually looking for specifically when it comes to a guy? We all at a decent enough age in which like we've dated enough, we experienced enough, and I think it's a bunch of guys that would love to hear 1, 2, 3 minute. It's a minute timer on it. But what is your list? What are you looking for?
I just want, I can't just sum this down. But if I say a partner, I just want someone who's gonna bring me peace. I want someone who I can learn from. We have a.
Can he be a broke nigga?
Nah, he can't be broke because I ain't no broke bitch.
Can he be ugly?
Nah, I gotta be attractive, honey.
So he gotta be he gotta have money.
He gotta have a couple dollars.
So
can he be
can
better?
he be better?
Good money and he looks attractive. Can he be better?
I like this. Talk to him. Yes. Talk to him.
Yes, he can because you can teach them.
Some people got health issues. We work in healthcare. They may not be able to do things that other people can do.
What's wrong with
There's several different kinds of penis problems.
How is it
So let's be honest here. Some people have micro penises. There's literally nothing they can do about it.
With some women, we compromise so much to the point we accept a lot of stuff. Yes, some women do. And they look. I'm not to get off top. Some women fake orgasms for many years now.
It's not about the size. I heard women say it's not about the size. It's how you please your partner.
Okay, we're not talking about women. Nah. You got the mic. We're talking about you.
Me?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, I gotta be pleased. I'm not gonna say a lot. No, I gotta be pleased. You gotta please me.
Hey, so all right, so Chrissy, he fucking the shit out you, but he broke.
A broke nigga can fuck the shit out of me.
You say what?
A broke nigga can fuck the shit out of me.
We got the best dick for real. I got caught up with the shit, y'all, and it's not good.
Hold on,
I got caught up with some good dick and a broke ass nigga.
So real quick, let's go to the next question.
It said, if there was one thing you could change about yourself right now, what would it be? Ooh.
That's a pretty good question.
This gonna sound bad, but I would change my heart. I'm too pure.
So you want to be more
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see that. Knowing you personally, I can.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would love to be more.
I might have to be mine too.
I'm too pure right now.
I'm too nice.
But even though I say I'll change it, that ain't me. But I'm gonna work on changing that. Cause
Okay.
What you got, big girl?
Right now, I think I would change my confidence when it comes to my career because I'm super smart and I'm very knowledgeable on what I do. But when I see, I don't want to be disrespectful. It don't matter. When I see white people in certain positions, I don't think they deserve it, and I know I deserve it, but maybe I don't push myself, or I don't have enough confidence to get to where they are because I know I can get there. Anyways, more of the story is I definitely want to change my confidence when it comes to work because I know I could be making a lot more money than what I'm doing now.
That is a good question. I feel like I don't want to say change, but I've definitely worked on a lot on myself within like the past couple years or so. So I'm not too sure because like the things I would want to change, I've definitely like worked on already, like my patience, my understanding. Okay, sis.
You're working. I'm proud of you.
I'm really proud.
Yeah, I've worked on a lot of myself within the past couple years. So like that's something I'm still actively doing. So picking one thing, I'm working on like multiple things. So that's all I got.
I'm proud of you.
One thing in particular.
Herself.
The one thing, That's hard.
Yeah, drill in on it.
That's hard for me to work on.
They in my bag.
Um,
I usually do that.
I am a very guarded person. I am. It does take me a while to open up. But I also think too, another thing that I'm not like too open about is being quick to forgive people. Like I'll hold on to things and be like, yeah, no, I ain't really fucking with that. I'm not a person that like, okay, whatever happened, happened. Especially when it comes to like disrespect or something like that, or I feel like you did something against me. Even though it might not be about me, I can still feel like it was something like directed kind of at me, and I would still hold on to that. If that makes any sense, but that's what I got. Oh, you got something, J Mills?
Yes, I would say I would change the way I trusted men. That's a tough one. So.
Okay.
So do you mean don't trust or
No, I don't. I don't trust them a lot. 9 times out of 10, I don't really trust guys. I feel like I can kind of. I feel like I kind of already know what's gonna happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Then you're self-sabotaging.
I feel like
y'all
that
got
too.
a
But no,
podcast.
I'm a Cancer, so my intuitions don't be.
It's a podcast question.
Y'all Cancer's different. I don't know.
Wayne, what you
We're
up?
gonna have some spin-offs.
Yeah, about to we throwing the Wayne.
So the question is, one thing you would change about yourself now?
Yeah.
I feel like the one thing I would change with myself that I think would be hard to is I care too much about everybody. I mean, I spread myself thin to make sure everyone else is happy before I do it for myself. No, I'm a Sagittarius.
I have a side question real quick.
Yeah.
So how do you show love to yourself?
That's what I find myself trying to work on right now, because I really would. Someone says, "Hey, I need you to do this." I'm never going to say no, and I think it's a gift and a curse. I think people play on that part on me sometimes, that they ask me to do things they know I'm not going to say no to, because it's just my heart to not say no. You know what I mean? Especially when someone that person that's involved is someone that I may care about, or I care about their well-being or what they feel or what they're going through. So for me, it's hard to not spread myself thin for others, but I always get ridiculed for my dad. My dad be like, "Bro, you gotta love yourself more than anything else. You gotta kind of take." But for me, it's like I can't. Like you said, certain things you want to change, but it's kind of hard to change. But if I could kind of adjust it, I think I would adjust. I wouldn't change it, but I think that's something that I kind of struggle with.
And I guess to throw credence to Wayne. So Wayne is also he's a basketball coach, which this is where I would piggyback and kind of give him his flowers. Where Wayne, and I think that a piece of like being a coach, because of like I've coached with him for a while, and we've coached against each other. Like we have like this really good rapport, but I think that there's this part where Wayne, especially now, he's been positioned in the spot where he has to do a lot. He has to travel to go get kids. Like he might have to travel 2 hours, go 1.5 hours, whatever, to go pick up a kid for a tournament that's 4-5 hours away. And it's a piece where like as a coach, you don't really realize like the commitment that comes in play, where a person really has to like really give up their time and their energy. And he has a kid, he has a son, in which these are also times and moments that he can literally just be spending with his son, and which he's also giving to like everybody. And like even as a coach, you have to sit and realize that part. And I think that that's a very selfless thing to do, in which I think that there's flowers also, because like when we talk about like community building and building black men, there's a lot of people that's on the ground level. I would say that Wayne is one of those ground level men.
Hey, shout out Coach Wayne.
Thanks for giving him his flowers.
And we don't put time frames on flowers, bro. Especially black men.
Right.
Especially black men, we're gonna make sure you get. Hey, I wish I was able to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Natural. That's your energy. People's gonna automatically gravitate to that because that's your gift as far as giving back. Like you may not know that, but I understand because I give that too. So we might not get that back. We search for that back, but sometimes it's okay. it's given that what hypes us. You know what I'm saying? So I understand.
Germ.
Rail, what's up, Rail?
Jeremy.
Let me see. Shoot, I ain't trying to complete with the flowers. Hey, I think, you know what I mean? I tip my hat to, especially, you know what I mean? Anybody, that's one of the things, any black man that's taking time out of their day to actually give to the younger black men, these young kids, these young boys that we're trying to mold to be the next generation of men.
It's our future.
Is literally like anybody that does that, bro. I take my hat off to that. So I'm definitely not competing with that, but I'll answer the question. One thing that I would kind of change about myself, I would say that, well, I ain't gonna say that I would change my understanding and implementation of balance. It's for me, it's hard for me to balance like all of the things that I have to do, and sometimes I feel like I'm not giving enough here where I should. I'm doing too much over here where I should be giving enough over here, and you know what I mean. And trying to find that balance. Hell, I got my family, my wife and kids family. You know what I mean. I got 2 pretty new babies, and then I got my mother and my sisters and my brother, and you know what I mean. Trying to find real balance, and then also where the fuck do you find time for self too? So it's a lot of moving pieces, and like I chose this traditional lifestyle chose me, and I chose it, and I decided to make sure that shit was what it needed to be, and that comes with a level of responsibility and just being able to figure out and prioritize where time should go. So I would like to get better at that. That's the thing that I probably say. And then learning how to. I'm gonna do 2 real quick. I still got a little bit of time. Learning how to express my emotion in words, how to tell somebody else how I actually
That's man
feel
shit right there. That's the man
in
part.
words. You know what I mean?
Yep,
it's hard to
that's the
put
man
that
part.
shit in words. You know what I mean? Because you ain't really been able to really say too much shit. So now we come into a time where it's like, y'all want to know what the fuck we think, and it's like,
Yep.
I ain't never had that
You have to actually
space to really
articulate
fucking,
yourself. Yep.
Yeah, like how I'm supposed to know how to tell you.
Those
Nobody ever
bars.
gave a fuck, so like now you need to know. It's like, okay, well shit, I need to learn that. Oh, go ahead.
Just real quick, I know in the previous conversation we were having a discussion about black men. Do you love yourselves? Is that something that you're still exploring? Like, how do you love yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's all I had.
Yeah, shit.
Because I know your initial response.
Wife and kids.
No,
and
I know your initial
what?
response was like you weren't sure
For
if you loved
sure.
yourself. So I wasn't sure if that's something that you've been like actively exploring.
That's a fact.
Okay, perfect. I like it.
We're gonna go to mid. Oh, okay. Nah, I gotta. I'm gonna piggyback off Ray. I got a 2-part answer, but I'm gonna keep it short. I'd say I want to be more outgoing and less understanding. As far as like I'm a natural like introvert.
Okay.
So like even shit like doing the podcast and stuff, it's more of me stepping outside of my natural, my natural lane. I'm not a talker, real big. Also as far as the understanding, I think I'm an empath. I'll say that. So I'm overly understanding a lot to where I'll try to like justify shit just because I can maybe see a perspective in it, because I value myself and being able to understand different perspectives. But sometimes you can take it just a little too far and try to justify all perspectives, where I don't think all perspectives sometimes need to be justified. And so I'd be more outgoing and less understanding.
Gotcha.
Okay, Johnny
All right. I would probably say that with me, I think that in general, I think that I can do most things myself. And I think that most things that I've done has been myself. And so like there's this calluses built with it and this like confidence with it. But there is an importance to having partners and different shit like that. And I've also used like the idea of other people not whatever as fuel to do it by myself. But as I get older, I understand that that's not specifically the best perspective in which it comes down to like really growing. Again, doing shit by yourself leads you not to have like build better friendships, build better partnerships, build better just situations. And so I think that can I do most things by myself? Yes. I proved that to myself. But I think that it is also important to be able to collaborate, to partner with people, and allow other people within your space to be able to, build with you.
So we're gonna wrap it up with the last question. Have you completed your goals for the year? And I am still in the process of completing a couple of my goals, but for the most part, I have.
Okay.
I've completed some.
I'm gonna be honest and say no. I'll just go.
I complete.
Yeah, I haven't really outlined any goals for this year. A lot of things came up personally that just kind of derailed me from any goals I had planned. So, yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at.
I learned something earlier this year that I don't set goals because a goal means there's an end. I set objectives.
Okay.
So I try to achieve objectives each part of the year, each part of my life more than anything else, though. But I don't set goals because basically once you reach that goal, it's kind of like, is that the ending point? So it's almost like, I don't set goals. I mean, and it made sense to me when I read. I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, why am I setting an end goal or ending to my life or ending to a certain topic of my life? Let me set an objective of what I want to achieve and keep going forward. Because once I achieve that first objective, I want to set a new one to achieve more. So I really don't set goals. I set objectives. But I feel like up to this point, I haven't met my objectives up to this point. But there's still time left, but I'm still, working towards it.
I like that.
I say I didn't really have many goals for this year. I think that COVID and a lot of things kind of done threw a lot of things off of the rails to really have clear and concise goals. At least for me, what I can say is that I actually met a goal, an unexpected one. Is me and my wife finding another, like you say, it's been a long time. Us finding a new love for each other. In the last year, and it started. You know what I mean? Shit, it's when you do this thing, it's gonna be rough. And yeah, like I said, it was something that it wasn't an objective or a goal, but it
thanks to the podcast,
it came and it was like, I appreciate the shit out of it. You know what I mean? For real. Got my 2-year-old daughter. You know what I mean? 5-month-old son. You know what I mean? Then gave me, all of the shit.
All that shit.
Yeah. So like, yeah, that's my answer.
I'll say no. But yes, I mean, there's certain things that I've accomplished that I wanted to. Like before the year started, I had I'll be transparent. There was another podcast I worked on that we ain't necessarily get to this point, and I always wanted to, having a creative space to, kind of get your thoughts off is something I've always wanted to have. And, I think even just the space, the infrastructure we created here, we got people that come through and really, fuck with us. So I have, that part of my goal. I have, I think we've done it as a collective. There's some personal goals that, I'm still a little bit away from. But as far as just my creative goal, I think I have, got to that personally. So.
Yes, I have.
All right.
I found this question difficult. But let's see. I think that I have reached some goals and I didn't reach some others. One very important goal that I wanted to reach was a better co-parenting relationship with my kid's father. If anybody has kids in here, it kind of gets difficult when you break up and all that stuff. But I think we've done that. So, yeah.
I think yes. I think that one, I would say that with the podcast that we do, I think that for an example, I guess I mean to say extent, it's allowed me the ability to be creative. I think that I thrive inside a creative space. So like every time I look at like the journeys of my life, it's always been me searching for a new creative outlet to do. Like even to the point of like my job, I do graphic design and web design. But every space in between that and before that and after it has always been a search of a different creative outlet And this has been another one that's allowed me to do that. But I'm going to throw it to my boy, Johnny P. I think that maybe this is the last question for the night, and we can wrap this joint up. What you got, Johnny P?
I think it was a good episode. I want to say appreciate everybody for pulling up and fucking with the boys.
Hey.
Shout out to the host, Taj. Off mic Taj, who was on mic and on camera tonight.
We got
shout
Big
out to
L.
the host, Big L, Chris, Mills,
Chrissy,
Big K, Toya. Shout out to Big Keith back there, Coach Wayne, Ali, and Sir A. Dot. And Sir A. Dot. So man, hey, shout out to everybody. I'll say like, comment, subscribe.
Yep.
Follow the show at the 2B Fair Show on Instagram,
Yep.
Facebook, and YouTube.
Yep.
I'm your host, Johnny P.
Over here, real.
It's Q.